What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Body Like It's your man, Ant Walker, joined by the homie Matt Wells. Today, we got some news about a fight night taking place June 5th. That will be held between Jairzinho Rozenstruik and Augusto Sakai. Matt, I just want to get your first reaction to this matchup as a main event.
Oh man, my first reaction as a main event is why? Why is this a main event? Because you're looking at two heavyweights. I guess that they're heavyweights. That's a draw in itself. So there's a high potential for a knockout. But as we've seen in recent Jairzinho Rozenstruik fights, that's not always the case, especially from his side of the things. But he's fighting Augusto Sakai. The interesting thing about this matchup is both of them are coming off of losses. So they somehow find themselves in a main event. Luckily, it's a fight night card. And as I'm sure we'll break down here in a second, as the UFC is kind of returning to arenas, I don't think this is the type of card that they want to bring in an arena. But in terms of the matchup itself, like I said, my first reaction was two guys coming off of a loss. Like, is everyone else tied up? Is there no other better fight that you could possibly put in this main event? Rozenstruik has been underwhelming for the most part from a lot of our expectations, outside of the Junior dos Santos knockout. But the loss to Francis, the loss to Ciryl Gane was so disappointing on so many levels to a lot of people. So the UFC must be really high on him still. So that's where I'm at.
I mean, they have to still have some faith in him to put him in a main event. But I think if you're going to put this as a main event, they're doing it in the best way possible. I mean, you see the two fights prior to that, and they're heavyweight fights. So with the string of fallouts that we tend to have due to injuries or the pandemic or whatever the case may be, you've got replacements all over the place in the main card. And then at the very least, the commercial for this will be sold on heavyweights. Doesn't matter who. You're just going to see big guys punching at each other. Somebody's going to go to sleep. And that's probably going to be the tagline to get some level of interest in this. But this definitely feels like a throwaway event. Granted, there are a couple of matchups in here that I'm really looking forward to. Like, say, for instance, the Santiago Ponzinibbio and Miguel Baeza fight, in addition to the Youssef, Zalal, and Sean Woodson fight. Those I'm really, really looking forward to. But as far as name value is concerned, this is a throwaway card. And we are just a few days away from a triple title headliner. We've got the champions busy coming up in a few other fights. You've got the 5-round main event between Leon Edwards and Nate Diaz coming up, a McGregor card on the horizon as well. So they have put a lot of their ammunition in pay-per-view cards, pretty much, for obvious reasons. That check from ESPN is guaranteed for this fight night. So, and I guess you can't let the Apex Center collect dust, because I assume that's where this is going to take place, because I doubt, even with the amount of COVID deniers out there, that there are going to be a lot of people willing to pack themselves in an arena for this card.
That's the question, right? Like, how many people are going to be willing to risk it just to watch, a couple of mid to fringe high level heavyweights throw down out there? I don't know, but I certainly know that this is not one of the cards that you would try to market to your audience to say, hey, come back and join us out here for this. This has Apex written all over it. Despite there being some names that we all like to see compete. Me personally, I like to see Walt Harris compete. Walt Harris is a great dude with a great story. I like to see Santiago Ponzinibbio fight. I like to see Youssef Zalal fight. Montana De La Rosa Lipski. That's a fantastic fight there as well. At least on paper. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, there's a couple of names that we as the more hardcore audience like to watch. Does that translate to the casual audience? I don't think so. So this one I would assume is going to be stuck in the Apex, like you said. And hopefully these future, headliners that get announced in between these pay-per-views that they are stacking, you know, has a more intriguing main event. But this is also a byproduct of having so many events in the first place. Eventually, you're going to get stuck with a dud of a main event on a dud of a card altogether. And, you know, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, hey, this is going to be that weekend where, you know, your social media impressions are going to be trending towards another event going on, like we saw last week with Triller. So, you know, who knows how this plays out. But this is on paper, this card, man, it's super weak.
Yeah, this is certainly for the most hardcore fans. And, you know, I don't even want to open the door for, well, you got to see the card before you judge it, because you know that if there's an exciting fight on this card, which I'm sure there will be someone, probably Dana, talking about that from a podium, that this is, you can't judge the cards until they're there. I'm judging this already. Sorry, not sorry. Not exactly the card that's going to draw all the interest, but we do kind of draw paychecks for talking about this stuff, so I guess we'll watch.
Yeah, and to be fair to that point, though, more often than not, when it's cards like these, there are a lot of spectacular highlights that come out of them. But it's just talking about getting me hyped to sit down and spend 6 hours to watch it. Like, that's a different story. Like, how it actually plays out is completely different from me getting excited about what's on paper, you know?
Right. Fair point there. So, I mean, we want to see stacked pay-per-views. We want to see some fight nights that have some name value. And when you do follow along in those lines, you look at some of the names in some of the upcoming main events, and yeah, spectacular. But this is the end result. So enjoy. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell that friend to tell 10 more friends. You're watching The Body Lock.